Hi and welcome to Pattern and Craft. Today's video is a tutorial on several different ways to do ties for your friendship bracelets. There will be 5 different types of ties shown, and there will be a couple of variations for 2 of those, so there'll be 7 in total. I'll put timestamps here in case you want to just skip ahead to the one that you want to see. These also make great bracelets all on their own, so you can always do that as well. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So first up, we have pretty much the easiest of these. This is the 3-strand braid. This is a pretty basic braid, and I think it looks pretty good when you're using colors that are all very similar, all the same color, or if you have like the top and bottom one here, just one extra color, then that can look kind of interesting as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie a knot in my string and tape that down, and that will represent the end of the bracelet if you're looking at this as a ties tutorial. If you're making braided bracelets, then that's how you would start your bracelet. So for the 3-strand braid, you're going to want to take your strings. I have 6 here, but you could do this with any amount of string, and just break it up into 3 groups. I'm using the same colors in each of my groups as each other. And of course, you're going to start braiding. So you'll take one of your strings. I'm using the right first. So I'm going to bring that across, and then I'm going to take the one that was on the left and bring it to the right, and the one that was on the right, bring it to the left, and just keep crossing them over like this. You'll have 2 in one hand and you'll have 1 in the other. And whenever you have 2, that top one, it'll be the one that will cross over next. And then now you can see that I've switched from holding the strings a little further back, and I'm holding them more tight and close to the weave of the braid, and I'm kind of tightening in between each pass. So there's a little trick for you. If you find that your braids are coming out kind of loose, then try moving your fingers closer to where you're braiding and just tightening in between each time you pass over the thread. So yeah, it's pretty basic, just, right to left, left to right, over and over. And there's only 3, so it's pretty easy not to get too confused, but, feel free to keep rewatching this and slow it down if you need to get the hang of it. So the next tie I want to go over is the 4-strand braid. And this is one of my favorites, actually, and I like doing a lot of 2-color bracelets, and it's perfect for a 2-color bracelet finish. It looks kind of stripy when you have just the 2 colors like this. It can tend to curl a little, but I do like this braid a lot, so I still use it. You can use it with multicolor, but I still prefer to have a contrasting color in there if I'm going to do that. If all the colors are kind of similar, then I just use a 3-strand, but the 4-strand's really nice when you have contrast. And so for the demo braid, because the contrast looks so nice, I picked some dark threads, some navy here, and then also some pastel-y kind of bright tones. And we're going to break those into, ideally we have half and half of each, and then we're going to break those into 4 groups of even amounts. And then we're going to want a different order than this. We're going to want the 2 matching on the outside, and then the other 2 matching on the inside. So 2 on the left, 2 on the right, in this order. So we're going to want to take, we can start on the left and cross over, and then you're just going to basically cross over the 2 outside strings across each other in the middle, and then over to the other side. And it's really basic pattern, so that's all there really is to it. You just take the outside strings, cross them in the middle over each other, and then put them onto the other side at the bottom, and then take the next 2 strings up and cross them over in the middle. And that's how you get this really nice kind of stripy, sort of chevron-y type pattern. So it's very similar to the 3-strand braid. It's just a little bit of a different pattern that you get since you have the 4 different groups instead of 3. I really do love this braid. It's so simple, but I don't know, just looks really nice to me. So I'll just go ahead and speed it up here and add some music, and you can see it finish up. So there we go, that's our 4-strand braid. So next we have another braid that also uses 4 strands, but this one is a 4-strand round braid. So this actually has 2 options. I only have the one option shown here, but after the tutorial on this type, I will show you the other version. And I actually just learned this one, but I am falling in love with it. It's pretty cool. It looks, this version looks like vertical stripes to me, and it works really well as cording. So I wove that cording here for button loops on this little pin cushion that I made, and it's holding up really well. It's perfect for that use. It's good cording because when you cut it, it takes a while to unravel. That's been cut for a few days, and that's as far as it's unraveled. So it's great for cording, but you know, this is for friendship bracelet ties. It's obviously good for that as well. So you're first going to take your string and break it into 4 groups. And of course you can use any color you want, but I think it looks best when you have the 2 different colors and they're contrasting. So you're going to want to put your groups of 2 of the one color to the left and 2 of the other color to the right. And you're going to want to start in this color position because the color position does matter. So the 2 matching on the left and the 2 matching on the right. So first, to start the braid, it's a little weird. You're going to go under 2 and then back over 1 and then pull it back to the same side it was on. And then for the next one on the left, you're going to do the same thing, under 2 and back 1. And then you're going to go back to the right and go under 2 and then back over 1. So it's a little weird. You basically you take your left string, go to the right 2, and then back to the left 1. And then you take your right string and go under 2 to the left and then back 1 over to the right. And at first it doesn't look like anything. It looks really weird, but then as soon as you get a few of those done, it starts to look like the braid. And you're going to want to tighten it between every time to get it to look nice. But once you get the hang of it, I think it's a really nice one. I just learned it, I think like a few days ago, and I've already used it for a couple of bracelet ties, and I've made a bracelet of it and used it for that cording like I showed. So yeah, so you're gonna see that I'm going under 2, back over 1, under 2, back over 1, and it's a little confusing, so try to do it all in one go. If you get lost, then you might need to undo a few, but basically the one that you're going to be using next is the one that's the highest up on the side. You'll see one of the strings will be kind of higher up than the others. That's the one you're going to start with. So I hope this isn't too confusing. It's definitely more complicated than the regular braids, but I think it's worth trying and learning, and I think it has a really nice effect. So this is the version that is a little bit different. It's the same weaving pattern, but we're going to just switch our color order. So instead of this 2 and 2 like we had before, we're going to do every other color. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do under 2, back over 1 from the left starting here, then switch to the right, under 2, back over 1, switch back to the left, under 2, back over 1, and keep doing that. But you'll see now that instead of the vertical lines that you got before, because we changed those colors out or just moved the order of them, now you're getting sort of a twisted kind of spiral effect in the pattern of the braid. Actually, how I learned this was by accident because I didn't know which order I was supposed to put the colors in. So I just kind of guessed and I got this spiral look, and I wasn't expecting it, but I thought it was pretty neat. So yeah, I'm sure that, there's probably all kinds of patterns you can use, but the ones I know are the vertical lines and this spiral effect. So that's the 4-strand round braid. I'm going to just speed it up and you can see the braid form and finish up. So now you can see that you've got this sort of spiral effect on the braid. So it's the exact same thing, just a little bit different. Speaking of spirals, we're gonna do twisted ties next. So this is one of my favorites, which is funny because I didn't actually used to like twisted ties that much, but now I use them on almost all my bracelets. That's the diamond bracelet that I just did a tutorial on. This one's the 2-in-1. Here's another bracelet I finished recently and just did a single tie, and I used the twisted again. I think it looks best though when there's only two colors or like two groups of colors, so they contrast really well. Then you really see the twist. And you can also use it if you don't have contrasting colors. These are all sort of the same tone and it still looks nice. It's just a different look. So to make the twisted ties, we're going to want to take our strings from our bracelet and split them into two groups. Ideally, if they're different colors like this, then you can see the twist better. And we're going to just start twisting to the right. Well, you can twist either direction, but you want both of your groups to start twisting in the same direction. Here I'm twisting both to the right. So you can see I'm twisting both groups individually to the right. And then I'm going to start twisting them around each other, the groups that are twisted around each other, the other direction, the opposite direction. So I'm twisting to the right individually and then wrapping them around each other to the left. And don't worry if that happens, that's fine. Just grab your strings again and then keep twisting and you can correct any kind of mess up that you do. Make sure you're wrapping them evenly around each other, not, one around the other, but both around each other in an even way. And it goes really fast. This isn't sped up at all. This is just how quick this technique is, which I think is why I grew to love this technique so much. It's just really quick. It looks really clean and pretty. And that's, you've already got your tie done. Look at that. Next, we're going to do a fishtail braid. So I'm going to start with this version of it. There's going to be two versions, and it's really just a difference in color. So this version would be if you have two of each color of all of your colors. So this often happens with friendship bracelets that are mirrors of each other. The pattern's pretty much the same on the left and the right, so you end up with the same colors on the left and the right. So then you can split up your strings into two groups, and you're going to want to order them the same color order on each side, choosing a color order that looks pleasing, like a rainbow, ombre, whatever you think looks nice, and just make sure it's the same for the left and the right groups. So I'm doing white, yellow, orange, purple, and green. And then you'll want to take those and split them up apart so you got your nice defined left and right sides. And then you can start your braid. So I'm starting on the left and bringing the top string down and over to the bottom of the other side. And then if you take the right string, it's from the top right to the bottom left, upper left to the bottom right, upper right to the bottom left, upper left to the bottom right. And because our colors are the same on both sides in the same order, they will cross each other. The orange will cross the orange, the purple will cross the purple. So it keeps it a little bit easier to kind of keep all these strings in order because they're basically doing the same thing as you would with any braid with the 4-strand or the 3-strand, but because you have however many strands you have, you can do this with however many you want. It's a little easier to see when you have mirrored colors on each side and you know what order they're supposed to be in. So now we've kind of started over. I've tightened up the braid because obviously we want it to be tight. I was just showing you kind of the looser version to see where the strings go. And because my fingers get in the way. See, here I almost messed up. They got kind of like crossed, but we really want the orange to come after the yellow. So there we go. Orange and then orange, purple then purple. So you're basically, you can just cross over from the top of one side to the bottom of the other and just go right, left, right, left. And that's the pattern for the fishtail braid. And like I said, you can do this with any number of strings. It gets a little more complicated the more strings you have, but in most bracelet ties, you're not going to have that many, but you can also do a bracelet just of this braid because it's really pretty. All right, I'm going to speed it up and finish up the braid. So there's our first version of the fishtail braid with the same colors on both sides in the same order. Next, I will show you how to make these ones. So these are the exact same braid, it's just that the colors are different. We don't have the same colors crossing each other. We only have one of each color in the braid, so they cross in a different way that looks kind of like an offset, kind of like a chevron. So I'm going to show you how to do these next. And I can realize now that I did the left and the right a little differently, but I'm going to show you the right version. So here you have one of each color of all your strings. There's just one of each of these colors. So you're gonna still want to split them into two groups. So I have 8 here, so we're gonna do 4 and 4. But you're gonna want to do sort of like an ombre effect or something, a nice order. And I'm grouping these sort of pinks and blues. So whatever looks good with the colors you happen to have in your bracelet, just kind of make a pretty arrangement. I'm going dark to light on the blue side, and then I'm doing light to dark on the other side, and there's a reason for that. If you can do dark to light on both, and then it'll kind of match up in the middle, light to dark, but this way, when that string comes over, it'll be going light to light and then dark to dark, so it's a little bit more of a smooth transition. So now we're going to start the braid. It's the same way we braided the other one. You take the top left, bring it to the bottom right, then we're going to take the top right and bring it over to the bottom left, and then we're going to do the top left, bring it to the bottom right, crossing over. But here you see, since we only have one of every color, they're not going to cross each other in the middle with the same color because we don't have 2 of each color, we only have 1. But you will be crossing the colors and then they'll end up on the other side from where they started. So just try to keep your order the same that you planned on. So I'm doing the last of the light blue color, and then the last of the pink is crossing over from the right to the left. I'm tightening the braid up, and then I'm going to speed it up because you've already seen this braid structure, but you remember it's going from the top of one group on the one side to the bottom of the other group on the other side, right, left, right, left. And now you can start to see how the pattern is forming. You get sort of the ombre effect on either side, just offset from each other. So you can use the fishtail braid in a variety of ways. I think these are 2 of the prettiest ways to use it. So I finished up this one, well, as much as I'm going to do for the demo, and you can see how pretty it turned out. So that's actually all of the ties that I had to show you today. I'm sure I will do an update video if I come up with any more, but that's all I know at the moment. So hopefully this will be informative and useful for you to finish up your bracelet in a variety of different ways. You can also use these braids as bracelets all on their own. They really look nice as little kind of mini bracelets or bracelets that can coordinate with other ones that you make. You can even double up the thread and make bigger, thicker ones, like that one on the upper right there. That's the 4-strand braid, but I think I used like double the amount of thread as I used in the demo. So hopefully you liked this tutorial. I hope you will like the video, share it if you feel like sharing it, subscribe, and of course, if you have any questions, always feel free to leave a comment or message me on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crafting!